Hi, Tim Paynter for the Bicycle Journalists. We met this intrepid cyclist while crossing into the Great Divide Basin.
Well, cool. So what is your name?
My name is Mike Green.
Hey, Mike, and where are you from?
I'm from Seattle, Washington originally, and I now live in Santa Cruz, California.
Awesome.
5 or 6 years.
What route are you riding?
I'm doing the Great Divide mountain bike route on this leg. I started originally in Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, and I plan on riding all the way down to Argentina, but once I get to Mexico border, we'll see. My MO is head down, hit the pedals as hard as I can. I just like to ride, so I'll ride past a lot of the road markers and stuff on the sides of the road, unfortunately, but you know, we've all got our method for getting this thing done. That's my approach, is just ride it as hard as I can, yeah.
And you have a special bike for this. What bike is this?
Yeah, I chose this fat bike platform because of the Alaska to Argentina factor. I just wanted kind of that, you know, all-purpose bike that could do mud, snow, sand, rocks, roots, you know, whatever comes my way, gravel. And it also scoots pretty good on the pavement. I had people asking me before, well, don't you pay a price in terms of speed for those big fat tires? And when we were in Canada, we did 1,500 miles in 16 days, so that's almost 100 miles a day.
Jeez.
Yeah, so we put the hammer down, and it was a lot of fun. The bike is a Muru. It's a company in Australia that has them built in Taiwan or China or someplace like that, but it's a titanium frame, which I thought would be kind of nice, so just low maintenance, no corrosion issues, nothing to worry about there. It's pretty flexible, so it's comfortable. And the big tires offer when it gets really rocky and rooted or washboard, that kind of stuff, I can air the tires down, and it's just like suspension practically. It's just really comfortable, and I can really scoot across it. I don't have to slow down to take the bumps. So it's been working out real well.
Wow. So whatever possessed you to ride the Great Divide from Prudhoe Bay and to Argentina? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, I don't know. I've done a couple of road tours before. I'm kind of a roadie, actually. I've done New York to San Diego, and then I did from Seattle, actually, up from the Canadian border all the way down to the Mexican border, and San Diego. And then I thought, man, I'd like to go on a real long trip, but I don't want to do it on the road. You know, I want to try something different. So my plan was, and still is, to stick to as much dirt as I can. It didn't really pan out up in Alaska and Canada. I had some real deep backwoods stuff planned with pack rafts and things like that to cross rivers, and 400-mile abandoned rail beds, things like that. But the partners that I was traveling with, we didn't stick together, so I ended up sending all that gear back and just kind of ended up riding on the road. But it was still fun because that's what I like to do anyways, just ride. So, but I don't know. I'm 53 years old, and I figured, if you're going to do something like this, let's get it done now, while you still can, and while you've got some energy and still got your health and those kinds of things. And my wife said, sure, if it's something you want to do, just check in every once in a while and maybe come home for a week. So that's what I've been doing. And once I get to the Mexico border, I'll decide, like I said before, if I want to stick with the fat bike, if I want to jump back on the road bike and maybe knock Mexico out. If Trump's in office, maybe I'll just skip Mexico altogether. Who knows? But I'm really looking forward to the South America thing, and I do want to do that on the fat bike because I want to do some of the high plains, the Altiplano, and some of that stuff. It's all gravel and all dirt, and stay off of the Pan American and that type of thing.
How will you get across the Darien Gap in Panama?
Yeah, I'll jump on a boat and sail over to Cartagena or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, what's been your roughest day on the road?
Oh boy, I've had a couple of really nasty ones. It's actually hard to think about because today was a beautiful day. The last couple days through this Great Divide Basin have been absolutely spiritual in a sense. I'm just really touched by what I'm seeing out here and just not thinking about anything else but that. So it's difficult to make that transition mentally to what a terrible day was. I have had some days, I think it was the one where I left Helena or Butte, one of the two, I can't remember. And it absolutely poured down rain, but I had to get out of town because I'd already taken a 0 day and it was just time to go. And it was just pouring outside the entire way, blasting me in the face. That was pretty bad. Some stuff up north, if you look at the road surface that we have here, it's easy going. I'll get down on my bars and cruise along, but these guys have chosen some really, really tough stuff that they throw in there just to mix it up. There's Fleecer Pass, where you come straight down a rock face practically and just sidestep the thing sideways. It's kind of fun, I guess, in a sense. Maybe it wasn't that hard. It was difficult physically, but it was actually kind of fun to do. That's a hard one. There's been some bad days in there. My big thing is rain. I just don't like to get all wet and muddy and then go jump into a tent at night and just be caked with mud and wake up wet and that kind of stuff. So I would say of all of the days that I've been on the Great Divide route, which was August 4th when I started pedaling south, I would say I got about 4 days of rain, 2 of which were pretty substantial and pretty miserable.
What do you think your best day was?
Best day? The last couple days have been pretty, like I was just saying, the last couple days have been pretty nice. I'm really surprised at how much I've enjoyed the Great Divide Basin area that I've been riding through. Out of Pinedale and down into Atlantic City and then to this spot here. These last 2 or 3 days have really been nice and enjoyable. But there's also been a couple of days up when you first leave Banff. The mountains are just these sheer cliffs that you just riding right down the middle of, and they're really spectacular and really awesome to see. And outside of the Great Divide, when we went through Denali National Park, we got real lucky because they say you can only see the mountain about 30% of the year. And it was a beautiful, gorgeous week that we were there. And we rode all the way out to Wonder Lake and back, and we saw the mountain in all its glory. And it was just beautiful out. Sun was shining, 85 degrees. We got up at 2 in the morning one morning, and the sun was just rising, and the whole mountain was pink and wearing in an Alpine glow, and that was a pretty spectacular time too.
What advice do you have for new people?
You just got to ride your own pace, and if you go with a partner, you've got to make sure that it's somebody that you're compatible with. It's extremely difficult for me, and I think most people, to ride with a partner. It sounds like it would be more difficult to do solo, but I find the opposite to be true. I'm a pretty chatty guy, get along pretty well with people and stuff, and I can I can tolerate a lot of stuff, but it's so difficult when you ride with someone else. If the pace isn't the same over time, you just can't stand it anymore. So if you're meeting somebody on the internet or something like that and you want to go, just be prepared to probably not have it last, or don't force yourself to make it last, because it just ruins the trip. Just get out there and build your confidence, build some skills as you go with a partner, and then be prepared to do it on your own, and it's really not that tough.
Cool. How long will you take?
Well, I started in Prudhoe Bay, started pedaling on June 2nd.
Wow. And
taken 1 or 2 zeros and went back home for about 2 weeks when I got to Banff and flew back a week and a half. So I don't even know what the date is today, 25th or 26th of August. So.
I don't have a clue either.
Yeah. So I'm doing about 60 to 70 miles a day. Tomorrow I'll probably just do like 56, but it all kind of works out to about 60. So I should be at the Mexico border late September, I would think, if everything goes all right.
Well, brother, I wish you the very best. You mentioned spirituality. Have you found spiritual moments?
I'm not a spiritual guy in the sense that I don't have any religion. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a Buddha. I don't follow any of the traditional religions or anything. What I mean by spiritual is, and a good example, and this happened a few times, but I came up over a rise just today, about 30 miles back, a couple hours ago, and I was looking out over this valley, and there was wild horses on either side of the road roaming in big herds, and what they call the pronghorn, which is a member, I think, of the goat family, but it looks like a lot like an antelope. Big groups of those loping around, and you just look out over the vastness of this place, and you see these 2 tracks that lead off into nowhere, and you can just start thinking about pioneers coming across and these people that just packed up everything that they owned and with a wagon and some horses and came across this place. It just boggles the mind. And the stories that you read, you cross the Oregon Trail and the Pony Express where they meet. And they've got a monument right there, and it really gives you pause, about where, because I live on the West Coast, all those people had to migrate across these lands and stuff, and I don't know, it just, I don't normally think that way, but when you see this kind of stuff, it really forces you to put some of that stuff in perspective and think about what you're seeing and the history and stuff that's there.
I've had the same experience.
Yeah.
Well, I sure thank you for the interview, and I wish you the very best in your travels.
Okay, guys. Hey, same to you. Be safe, and